Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very second promo episode of Mitch and Mike's voiceover journey. Mike actually is here, which is amazing. But you know who else is here? P.S. Wells. This is an author, Peggy Sue Wells. Hi, Peggy Sue.
Hey, how
How
are
you
you
doing,
guys?
Peggy
Mitch
Sue?
and Mike. Mitch and Mike. Good to see you.
Oh, man. I'm so happy you're here because this has been we've been chatting about this book since I met you
Yeah.
at
Realm Makers.
Realm Makers, which was like a whirlwind of fun in itself. I'm sure we could have a whole podcast around Realm Makers.
And we will.
Oh, okay, we will.
Well, not about Realm, but we will have more stories from
Yes.
that in a separate gig. So.
Yes, but I want to kind of get you rolling on telling us about the books we're promoting for you, and maybe a little secret treat for our listeners, audiobook readers here, audiobook narrators.
Some exciting things. So as you listen to
Yes.
this, stick around to the end because there may be an opportunity
There may be an
for our
opportunity.
listeners. So
Okay, so Peggy Sue, tell us what we're looking at here. What are these books? Everything. I
Yeah.
want to know from.
Okay, so the first thing you probably need to know is I've written more than 100 books.
Whoa!
I know, right? So 45 of them have my name on them, traditionally published and what have you. The other 60-something, I do a lot of ghostwriting and collaboration for other people. So I've written other people's books. So occasionally I get a nice little note in the acknowledgments. Thank you, Peggy Sue. I couldn't have done it without you, that kind of thing. So I appreciate those. So a little while ago, I have a very good friend, probably my best friend, Max and Barb Garwood, that are here in Indiana. And they were my first friends when I moved from California to Indiana. And Max is Spock. He is Spock today in the flesh. And so he's just so brilliant and massively brilliant.
we talking Mr. Spock or Dr. Spock?
Mr. Spock. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mr.
Okay.
Spock on the Enterprise. So he's super smart. He's an inventor. He's a patent attorney. He's a regular attorney. He is, works with the government. He does things that he can't tell us about. He's just very, very brilliant. So he calls me one day because our two boys were best friends. His son was in a MASH unit, deployed in a MASH unit over in the Middle East. My son was in Spec Ops, and I had no idea where he was. If I ever did hear
Wow.
from him, I learned to say, how are you, not where are you? Because where are you just forced him to lie to me. So I would just
Yeah.
say, how are you?
Mhm.
So Max called me because we're thinking about our guys. And he said, I've been thinking about the boys. He says, I've got an idea for a book. And I'm like, do tell. So he gives me this plot. And it was brilliant because Max is brilliant. And I go, Max, you're a patent attorney. You write patents all the time. Sketch it out. Send it to me ugly and rough. I will flip it into a book and then we'll get it out there. Max said, I am an engineer. Here are the 10 bullet points. You write the book. So I'm like, okay.
Oh,
So I started writing and I was sending the chapters every so often. And he'd make little comments once in a while. And then I would occasionally get this phone call. Can you come over? So I'd go over and he's printed them all out. He's reddened them all up with his red ink. And Barb and I and Max sit there at the table drinking Earl Grey tea because that's our thing and going over this manuscript. And Max would say to me partway through, so is there going to be, first off, he was saying, why wouldn't the bad guy do this? And I said, you know what, Max, the bad guy would do that. I'm not smart enough to have thought of it, which is why he didn't. So I'd come home, write that into it. Then I lay on the couch for 3 days because I've written myself into a corner and I have no idea how to get out of it. So then I go back and he would say, okay, they wouldn't use that weapon. I'm like, okay, what would they use? He's like, just a minute. And he disappears and he comes back and he lays this thing on the table in front of me. Kablam. He's like, they would use this. I was like,
Wow.
cool.
Boomerang.
What is it? Yeah.
No, okay.
How does it work? So he would tell me how it worked and I'd write that in. We were 2/3 of the way through this book when Max says to me one day, so Peggy Sue, is there going to be any romance in this? This had to come from the guy that's writing this, the co-author that's the
Wow.
female. Didn't even occur to me.
Mr. Spock asks about romance.
Yes, about romance.
Right.
So that was another one where I said, that's a really good idea. There should be some romance in there. So there is just enough. But what we did was we wrote the patent, and it is high adventure, short chapters, because it's written with our guys in mind. And so we wanted to do something that they would enjoy reading. So it's written specifically for that audience. The cool thing is, anything that's written for men, women will read. They're fine with everything. Guys particularly like to have a protagonist that's male. That's just how they're wired, not right or wrong. It's just how they are. They just like it better. So
Manly
fine with
men.
me. They're manly men. Yes.
Manly men.
So fine with me. So that's what we did. We have a great main character in there, and it's highly suspenseful. I have had people call me after they read the book and they said, you know what, I got 3 or 4 chapters into it and I stopped and realized I had to go back to the beginning because everything in the book counts to the story. There's nothing superfluous in there. So every little bit is like grab onto it because you're going to need it. So if it's superfluous, we got rid of it. It has to be something that just sticks to it.
That's
so
novel.
we wrote
No
the
pun
patent.
intended. Yeah.
Right.
Pun intended for sure.
Pun intended. Very pun intended.
So can you can you give us like a non-spoiler, just here's the plot and here's what the book's all about?
Yeah. So the subhead is called the patent. One weapon will make your enemy invincible. And what's happening in it is the U.S. Patent Attorney or Patent Office, if something gets thrown in there and it looks like it could be militarily sensitive, it's stamped with a secrecy order. And so in the book, the way this opens up is America's enemies are stealing those patents and then they're developing them way before we can get to them. So they're ahead of us now in the arms race. So the FBI gal, who happens to be our main character, Mark's older sister, calls him up, says, hey, we got to track this down. So you're a patent attorney. We'll just write a really juicy patent. We're going to send it through. I'm going to track it. And then we'll see where the leak is and we'll plug it up. So he says, sure, little sis, or let me do this for you. So he puts this beautiful patent together for a weapon that will make whoever gets it militarily invincible. And so off it goes and it's going through the channels. Well, it sure gets picked up, stolen like it was supposed to. But the enemies that grab it realize they can't put it together. And so they come back and they take Mark. He's kidnapped.
Oh.
And then off he goes. So now his sister is looking for her brother, her only family member, as well as trying to stop world power from shifting. And that's how the book opens.
I like that hook.
Does sound intense.
That starts out just,
Pretty fun.
innocently enough. Well, not innocently enough. I guess you're creating a fake patent. Then boom, the whatever drops, and now all of a sudden you have a mystery that needs to be solved. I love
and
that.
a potential Star Wars love story between a sister and never mind.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, that went somewhere else. That's already been taken. That's been taken.
Yeah, they've already
Been
done
done.
that.
The
They've already
incest
made
thing's
it
been
weird.
done.
Yeah, they've already made it weird.
What we did do later on, because in a novel, you have to keep the suspense ratcheting or people get bored and they go get a beer instead of finishing the book. So later on, he realizes that if he doesn't get this thing working, and it's a theory, it's not real, but if he doesn't get it working, his sister's going to die. And if he does get it working, he'll never go home. So either way, he's stuck. There's not a good decision.
And somehow you somehow wind it down because these books you were telling us aren't super long. They're bite-sized. They're easy to grab onto. They're not the one Mike's reading. What book is that?
I'm reading the Stormlight Archives. I'm in the 5th book of a 5-book series where they're all at least 1,200 pages long. So, yeah, that's a big chunk to chew. But yours is more of a snack. Well, not a snack, a light meal, as opposed to a 5-course whatever that Brandon Sanderson writes. But
Well, that guy's a machine. He is a machine. Yeah, he's something.
But yeah, obviously much different genres as well. Yours is more sounds like, again, to use some famous authors like Tom Clancy-ish,
yes,
John Grisham-ish, where there's a central story and then the chase is on, and the smart people trying to outsmart the other smart people and all of that. But it sounds like right up my alley of things that I've read for years, because I've read a lot of Clancy, I've read a lot of Grisham, I've read a lot of
that's
James
what we've been
Patterson
told.
and all that kind of stuff. So
I've been compared with all those authors that you talk about, but the best one that came back, Clive Cussler was like my hero. And there've been a lot of people that have said that it's like the female version of Clive Cussler, except we have Max, who's holding up the male end of keeping that balanced out.
Right. And how do you contend with all of these? I mean, you have the smart people in your life who are like, they wouldn't use a boomerang or whatever. How do you contend with some of these really detailed things that maybe, I'm not an author, so I really don't understand this. How do you contend with things you don't maybe know about? Do you have to do a ton of research?
I do a lot of research. Luckily, I have Macs. I mean, not everybody has a Macs, but because I have Macs, I can go a lot of places that I wouldn't be able to go otherwise, simply because I would have no idea. But Macs is super helpful. But yeah, there's a ton of research. In every one of my novels, I say I expand people's world because in every one of my novels, you're going to go someplace you've never been before. You're going to have an experience that you've never had before, because I'll take you through it so you feel like you're there. And then I'm going to teach you something about history that you never learned in your history books, and you probably don't know until you read the books. So I want everything to be something that's worthwhile for the reader. So it's not just entertainment, but you're going to be like, wow, now I know something that I didn't know before.
I hate to say that's the only way I like to learn history.
Right?
Is
Me
being
too.
like
Is
force-fed
nonfiction?
it. Pretty much,
Or
yeah.
fiction?
Through fiction, I'd like to be force-fed like little bits of history.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
like
strange.
I get my news from from TikTok and Facebook.
Because that's all believable.
It's so
'Cause, yeah, I know it's all
yeah.
true. I knew everything I read on the internet
so
is true.
helpful. So beyond those books, I'd like to hear a little bit more, and then we'll move into our sort of surprise. But
Or
I'd like
pitch
to
or
hear
surprise.
a little bit more about some of the books that aren't a part of this story, like maybe some of your newer ones or something else you're pumped about.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this isn't just a book; it's a series.
It's a
series.
Yeah. So right now there are 4 books in the series. Chasing Sunrise is it's the prequel, and that one I wrote all by myself. And then right after that, we start with the patent that I wrote with Max. After the patent ends on a cliffhanger, and so then we wrap it up in Secrecy Order, and then we finished recently. It's called Unnatural Cause, and these are with the same main characters. So Unnatural Cause got Best Mystery Suspense of the Year.
I was going to say, who keeps putting these gold stickers on your books?
Yeah.
I know,
mean,
right?
like,
Actually, those are from Richard Paul Evans. Has done some of them. An author to watch. So if you know Richard Paul Evans, and then this one is supposed to have, some of the covers have the second sticker because it did win Mystery Suspense of the Year. So yeah, and then the next one, Cohen Code will be out pretty soon, and we're just going to keep writing them the same way Clive Cussler did. We're just going to keep writing them as long as people like them, and Max has already given me ideas for a whole bunch more to go forward with.
Awesome.
So we'll just keep writing them as long as people like them. And if you start and read it all the way through, each book is going to start and end fine. You'll have the 2 siblings, the FBI sister and the patent attorney brother. But as you go through the books, if you stick with them, you're going to learn more about them because their story is also going to unfold as it moves along. So the one I'm finishing
so if you
on
haven't
now,
caught that spoiler, the brother who get kidnapped, he survives.
He survives. He's going to live. And at the end of the one I'm writing now, he gets his DNA done, and because the book has a lot to do with that. And the very last line in the Cohen Code, he gets a phone call, and they say, "Mark, there's some fascinating results in your DNA test." And we leave it there.
Done.
Dun, dun, dun.
To be
I hope
continued.
that's more history lessons, to be honest. I hope
And then you
there's
gotta wait.
something- Yeah.
It's and then you gotta be like, when's the next one coming out?
Yeah.
But that's how you get them hooked.
That's how you
That's
do
how you get them
it.
hooked, right?
That's how you do
You
it.
give them
Yeah.
you give them a taste of something that's to come, and then they can't wait till that thing comes out, and then they get it. So how how is the how successful have you been with these so far with this series?
Other than winning awards.
Other than winning awards, because
yeah.
that is very successful.
And there were peer awards, which is pretty exciting when they're given by your peers, people that write and win awards themselves. So that was pretty fun. They're doing okay. The thing that I struggle with and that I wrestle with and that I keep just plowing away at is, of course, the marketing. So just keep doing
Always
that.
the best part, right?
Always the best part. And it used to be that our publishers did that when I started in the industry. And now the author does the writing and the marketing, even if you're traditionally published. So we got to put on 2 hats and learn how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
But some of my previous books have done okay. I've did a lot of nonfiction. The most recent was The 10 Best Decisions a Single Mom Can Make. And that one got me on some really nice podcasts. So like Family Life Today and Focus on the Family and some of those bigger ones when Focus on the Family did 2 days on that book, and it was the most listened to broadcast of the year for them. It was just a very good topic. Yeah. So I think my second book that came out did stellar. It actually came out right when 9/11 happened, and it was called What to Do When You Don't Know What to Say. And when that happened, we're all like, oh my gosh, what do I do? How can I help? How can I be like of service? And I'm this little, Midwest mom, raising my 7 kids and homeschooling them and all that. And I get this phone call from the publisher, and they said, we just want you to know, we sent a truckload of those books, your book, up to the survivors and rescue personnel of 9/11. And I was like, I got to do something. I got to do something helpful. I was so grateful.
That's amazing.
That might be, I hope something I make gets trucked to people to help them out.
Right.
After a crisis. That's insane.
So you mentioned that the first book's been out for a little while. And so where can that be found?
You can get all of, and I call these action adventure books. I've sort of moved the topic over based on what readers are looking for, because they're looking for particular topics, to adventure romance. Because we have that little bit of romance, thanks to Max.
Enough to call it that.
Just enough. And also, there's just enough science fiction in them, because we take these inventions that Max knows because he's a patent attorney. He knows what's being developed, but it's not here yet. So all of these books have something that's not here
futuristic.
yet. A little futuristic. Which gets me into, I get to go to Comic-Cons with that, because there's just enough science fiction that it fits. Hence, that's where I get to meet Mitch, because we're at Realm Makers.
Yeah.
So that worked.
Wow.
All right. So
that's
the first
smart marketing.
and so let's kind of transition here. The first one has been narrated. And so is that available on Amazon?
It is on Amazon, and only on Amazon. But yes, Chasing Sunrise. That one kind of, put it out there and asked if somebody wanted to do it, and they did. They came in. It's actually one of the guys that does the announcing for the Indy 500. So he had a really nice, kind of that radio voice. And he did it for a percentage. So a percentage of the sales, and then he gets a percentage. It's a hard way to do it. I put that right out there, unless it's somebody that is going to really make some money back. However, even if it doesn't make a lot, it looks good on your resume if you're wanting to do that, so that then if somebody's like, show me a sample of your work, you're like, well, here it is. And, it's all right there for you to listen to. You don't have to send out a whole lot of samples.
Right.
All right. And that moves us into the topic. Oh, you got something else.
Yeah, but
before
also,
we run into that.
The second one. One other book that was...
Yeah.
So this one was Homeless for the Holidays.
Which is not part of the series.
It's not part of the series, but it is.
Just want to throw that out there in case it wasn't obvious.
Yeah. It's actually a novella, so it's not really thick. So Homeless for the Holidays, Katie Lee, who you guys have had on a couple of times, you know her well. Katie Lee said to me when that book came out, she was like, well, I'll narrate that. I haven't done any book narration yet. And Katie's, the voice of everything. She's done this all her life. And I was like, wow, great, thanks. And she's so talented, and she does all the voices of all the members of the family, and it's so rich and it's so good. She got like 2 or 3 chapters into it in her little booth out in California. I'm here in Indiana, and she calls me up and she said, I am never doing this again. And I'm like, Katie, why? You're so good at it. Because she had sent it to me, and there was, so good. And she said, it's so long. It just goes on forever. There's no end to this.
Novella, yeah.
But then I step back and I look at Katie. Katie's brain goes so fast onto so many different topics, and she can go from this voice to that voice to this voice to that voice so fast that, staying in something for that long of a time drove her crazy. I think you had one other person, Leslie Grant. Was she also? Yeah. I believe she said books are just too long. She's like, there's too many words. So there are some voice actors that are not wanting to do it. It's not their bag.
Yeah, it is.
It does scare me.
Not for
everybody. For that reason, it does scare me a bit.
Yeah,
even though like just thinking about doing it, and the idea that I can envelop a character or several characters for a long time and really get into it, and hopefully when a person listens to it, they're like, "That's the guy," right? but getting into it as a narrator is its own bag of
it's its own special genre of voiceover, because you got to be dedicated and to the long read. The long form narration is definitely something that not a lot of us can do.
And I only started reading out loud when I started training for voice acting.
Nice.
But now that brings us to the main topic of this little promotional podcast we're doing here.
Yeah.
And that is something that Peggy Sue is going to ask of our listeners. And so, Peggy Sue, what do you need?
So here's what's happening in books, in our industry, in the book industry. Audiobooks sell so that, like, if you combined all the paperbacks and all the digitals, audiobooks is that level. They're as much as combining the other two together. Everybody loves audiobooks. Most of my reading is audio because I'm always traveling or going, and I can have it in my head. I love audiobooks. I especially love some of the readers, some of the narrators, just like, I'm just so glad when they're reading it. I listened to one, Jonathan Riggs did Charles Martin's series, the Murphy series. And his voice just made the whole thing come, to life. It was so good. I sent him a message that it was great. So there are audio readers, there are narrators that just bring us into the story. So we just like there with them. So what I really would love to do, because audio is so important and people want to do audio books, is I would love to put the patent into audio. And then I would also love to follow it up with secrecy order, for the simple reason that the two of them together are 90,000 words, which is the amount of words for a respectable novel. We divided it in half because it leaves it on a cliffhanger at the end of the patent. So you really need to do the secrecy order to finish it up. And no matter where I am, including Realm Makers, where I met Mitch, people come up all the time and say, is the book on audio? And right now, no, it's not. So I would love to put it out there and see if there are voice actors that would like to try it. I do think it does definitely need to be read by a man. It's written with a male audience in mind. The main characters are men. It's just so high action that I think that voice is going to need to be male. I would love to see if there's anybody out there in your listening audience or the voice actors that would like to give it a whirl.
Are you looking for accent? Are you looking for hyper-masculinity? Are you looking for sort of that nerdy IT guy? Like, are you
looking for someone who can do multiple voices? Not necessarily like characters, but just different inflections and stuff. Or do you want it read in one, just in one voice?
I think the inflections will be very important. The main character is going to be Mark, and he is kind of our nerdy patent attorney. He winds up in a situation where he has to save the world, and he's just this ordinary guy until he has to be extraordinary, and then he steps up. So ordinary Mark. His sister is in the FBI, so we'd have Mallory that's there, but he winds up on the other side of the world. And so one of the other main characters, our bad guy, who actually, one of the best reviews I got, somebody said it's the most well-rounded bad guy I've ever read. Oh, wow. Because bad guys sometimes have a reason why they're the way they are. And so we get to explore that in this book. All that to say, he's in China. And so he's going to talk like more with that sort of an inflection. So there's opportunity for like stretching if a voice actor wanted to try that. I'm sure it also would work if you just read it well. And like you said, you just had different inflections as you went along. So I think we're going to leave that up to those who want to take a crack at it.
Okay. And this crack, this audition is going to be done through Mike and I. And then on to Peggy Sue. We're going to, with this podcast, where you're listening to now, we're going to put some information out. You're going to send us the email, the initial email. We're going to put that all in there for you. I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. But
I mean, basically, it's just going to be an initial. We'll let you know. Email Mitch and Mike, vojourney@gmail.com. That's the email address, and obviously it'll be in the liner notes of the podcast.
All this will be in the liner notes.
But just drop us a note of, hey, I'd like some more information about this, or hey, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring. Anything like simple like that. And then we'll get you the information on what that audition needs to look like, what what parameters it is, the actual audition script, and all of that, and a deadline, and then you'll submit to us, and we'll review, and we'll send it off to Peggy Sue, and she will make the final decision of who is going to be the voice of Max. You said
Mark.
Mark, yeah, Max,
Mark and everybody else.
Yeah,
that does help.
Mark and everybody else, the narrator and all the characters as well. But so pretty exciting stuff, boys and girls. Well, mostly boys, because
there is a question I have. Oh yeah, pretty much. You were hoping to have this narrated by when?
We could start work as soon as they want to. So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the
right
books
off
are ready.
Yeah.
The
As soon as
ready
you
to go.
find your narrator, we're gonna hit the ground running. So, that's a
We should
job.
probably put a deadline out though. Like what? Do you guys? And you guys are the experts here. Do you guys normally have like 3 weeks, 3 months? Like, how do you normally?
We've never done this, so
yeah. I mean, I think that it really depends on how many submissions there are, and so we don't want to say, hey, here's 5 people. We want to give you
the deadline
choice.
will be in the liner notes. The deadline will be on the video.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
The deadline will be set, and if depending on how many submissions we get, we may have to extend that a little bit. But
I'm gonna guess by the end of March.
Give you some time.
We'll give you a little time, not too much time. We want the fire to be there by the time.
We don't want to start this project in 2028. It's like, let's go.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm a listener too. I'm waiting for the audiobook, so you guys better hurry up.
Well, and I'm really excited about this because I'm excited to hear people's take on your words, and to be able to help you discern what the right voice for your book is. And so it's just going to be exciting for us, I think, to be involved with this and to be helping you. It's it's one of the things Mitch and I have talked about. We really want to focus on this year is what can we do for the community? What the voiceover community, the creative community, how can we give back? And this is, a prime example of, hey, Mitch thought out of the box and asked you some questions, and boom, here we are helping you cast a book. So
only because you're so
amazing.
nice, Peggy Sue, and everyone's going to find out how nice you are on our longer form podcast that we're about to do after this.
Yeah.
Well, and truthfully, Mitch did exactly that. When Katie introduced me to him at Realm Makers, that's what Mitch said. What can I do for you? And I was like, well, actually, I wanted to get the book on audio. So that's exactly the question that you asked. Yeah.
Here we are.
And there will be, we also need to say there will be, it's not a ton of money because I know voice actors can make a lot of money doing these books, but there is going to be $2,000 for it. We'd like to do the 90,000 words for the 2,000. The engineering part is optional. If you can do it, great. If you can't, that's fine. We can still work that out on our end.
Cool.
All
and
right,
we'll get
fantastic.
that all figured
So
out on the back end for sure.
Yeah. It's a 2-for-1. You're doing both books, but it's a total package of $2,000. She'd like the same voice for both books because it's kind of a part 1, part 2 thing. I think that's pretty much what people need to know. Is there anything else that you want to say or bring up or ask Peggy Sue about the book and everything?
One thing that might, make it seem a little bit more fun is the chapters are super short, then they're high action. So you're just going to go through it really quick. It's a fast moving book. You won't be bored into a coma.
Yeah. She was telling us about it a little bit beforehand, and there's not a lot of wasteful fluff content. It's all right there. Boom, boom, boom. Happens. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun to read.
It's not a
and also
microbiology
to
book. Yeah.
Narrate. Yeah. It's not Tolkien.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tolkien is great, but man, can he describe a tree?
Okay.
Right.
Well, you guys got most of what you need, and you're going to get more in the wrap up.
Yeah, so make sure if you've listened to this podcast, check out where it is you started listening to, whether it's Spotify or you caught the link on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. There's going to be information there that you need to read and understand about how to submit for this. And we're very excited to help Peggy Sue out and get her the voice that she needs for her books. So,
and if you want to read the book, P.S. Wells, the patent.
And the first one is what again? What's it called? Because that was already available in all formats.
That's the prequel.
And that's the prequel.
Yeah, that's the prequel. Yeah. So the patent is the one you want to probably pick up. You can pick it up at Amazon, of course, at Barnes and Noble, probably any place you get a book. It's there. It's also on my website, which is PeggySueWells.com. And I always make them a little bit less expensive on my website, just so it makes it worth you to come by and maybe come by again.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Awesome. That's it. We're about to interview you long form.
So if you listen to the promo, we're done with that, and
then
now come back and listen to the actual episode where we get to hear more about Peggy Sue. So
we're going to do the 12,000 page version.
Yeah, we're very excited for you all to throw your hat in the ring and give us an audition and see if this is something that you want to get involved with. So
maybe we can launch somebody's career in that direction.
Hello.
All right.
Bye
Bye, everyone.